You know, Walleyes for Tomorrow has been in a program in coordination with DNR for a number of years for reward tagging of walleyes. The department will put a red Floyd tag in the fish's back. It's got a number and address and that sort of thing. And if anyone catches a fish that has one of these in it, calls in the number to the DNR, and they have a spiel that they give when you call that number. They want to know a number of things about where you caught it, when you caught it, size, and that sort of thing. But then if it's verified as being a legitimate catch, I get an email, and Walleyes for Tomorrow writes a check for $100. It's been determined that a lot of people, if they see a tag in a fish's back, just don't care. They even though it's a good measurement tool for the department, a lot of people don't return tags. But it's been determined that for $100, a lot of people will return these tags. We've been doing this on Winnebago for 7, 8 years, I guess, a while. And we just started on Green Bay last year. And the reason we started on Green Bay was they don't really have a take on what exploitation, and exploitation is human take and consumption of fish. They really don't have a good take of what human consumption is or on walleyes in the Bay of Green Bay. So last year they tagged 200 fish, and I think we had 4 tags returned last year. This year they tagged 400 fish, and I didn't count the numbers for this session, but I can tell you we're over 40 and probably closer to 50 for this year. So exploitation numbers are going to go up. Last year was a bit of an anomaly because they figure percentage exploitation, and I think their percentage last year was like 5%, which is a typical walleye population that is good sustaining, or has a good sustaining natural reproduction population, can withstand about a 35% annual exploitation by humans and go on and survive. This year, I don't really know how the formula is calculated to figure percent exploitation, but it will be significantly more than it was last year based upon the number of tags that we've had returned. We committed for 3 years when we initially talked about this, and they want to run it for 5. So it's up to the board of directors of Walleyes for Tomorrow whether or not we're going to provide the funds to continue this for 5 years. Obviously, the longer it runs and the more numbers they get for their calculations, the more statistically valid their assumptions are. And there's a reason for doing this. When the department proposes a rule change for fish, they need reasons. They need statistical analysis, and I shouldn't say that completely because I don't believe it always, when they take it to the Natural Resources Board. So for them to go to the Natural Resources Board and say, hey, we want to change from a 3-bag limit to or from a 5-bag limit to a 3, or from a 5 to a 6, they need accurate statistical evidence that what they're asking for won't damage the population. So that's the reason for doing this. And the longer you run a test like this, the more statistically valid your numbers are, and that's the purpose of this. Adam Nickel used that on Winnebago. He tagged walleyes in the vicinity of Oshkosh, and calculated 1 year that the exploitation level on subadult females was close to 40%, somewhere around 40%, which is too high. And that was when we had a 5-bag. And that's what Adam hung his hat on when he asked the Natural Resources Board to allow the DNR to reduce the bag on Winnebago to 3. and they agreed. So we now have a 3-bag. We have a 3-bag statewide, but except for Green Bay, that's still 5. So whether that's good or bad is to be determined, but that's the purpose of the reward tag program. And like I said, Walleyes for Tomorrow pays if we have 50 tags already paid or already turned in this year on Green Bay. That means Walleyes has paid $5,000 out and $100 increments to people that turned in the tags. So just an explanation of what's going on and why we're doing what we're doing.